Hello beautiful creatures, welcome back to Of Crafts and Curios. It has been a hot minute since we've seen each other and I've been so sick the last few months, you probably can hear it in my voice still, so I haven't been able to produce the kind of content that I've wanted to with the kind of regularity that I have wanted to for the channel. But I am back today with a new video and hopefully some more videos to come over the next few weeks once I'm back from Japan. But today I really want to dive straight into practicing some face-up techniques on the new Generation 3 Monster High dolls because the faces are really different than the OG Generation 1 face sculpts, and it feels like I need to almost retrain myself on how to do face-ups on these bigger scale eyes with those molded in eyelids. So that's what we're going to do today. We're just going to practice and hang out, and I'm going to keep talking to a minimum because I literally am still very sick, so let's dive into it. So I picked up all of the new Generation 3 dolls from Kmart here in New Zealand when they released, I think, in March, and I have already practiced on I think the Cleo face, and I struggled a lot. So I'm going to dive in with the Draculaura, the Clawdeen, and the Lagoona face, all really different sculpts to the originals and to each other, and I'm going to make some little ornaments just over their heads, very goth styled alternative looks. And to begin with, I'm going to go in and do some piercing just to try out how thick this vinyl is because they are a lot heavier than the original heads. And now I keep saying I'm sick, and I have been sick for a while, and it is true. I have been kind of off and on sick all of this year. Back in December before Christmas, I caught the plague, and I'm really hoping it's not long COVID or anything like that, but since then I have been sick almost every couple weeks. So it's been hard to create recently, but I am now very excitedly on Substack so that I can kind of share more of myself with you guys through my writing, and I am on Etsy of course still. I've got a shop update and maybe a sale coming up for my birthday later this month, and I'm just trying to do what I can with the capacity I have at the moment by being sick all the time. So I am also fitting in a trip to Japan this month, and my birthday is coming up, and I'm having a joint party with one of my really close friends who I've spoken about on the channel a lot, my goth friend. So that's going to be lots of fun, and there's lots of things happening behind the scenes. I am working with Buy and 4 Collective to host a market in May, which I will be sharing with you guys the whole experience of that, and just, yeah, getting through it all. It feels like this year has been a bamboozle and been so quick and crazy, so it's nice to just sit down and practice my skills, not really mind what the outcome is at the end, but just practice and have fun. So here I am just moving Clawdeen's ears down from the wolf position into more of a cow-like position. Last autumn I created a little cow pumpkin patch girl, and so I wanted to create kind of her goth sister in the Gen 3 sculpt. So she's going to be a little goth cow, which is so cute to me. And then I decided to go with more of a trad goth vibe for the Draculaura sculpt and a goth Lolita kind of look for the Lagoona sculpt. The Lagoona eyes are their biggest by far, and so they intimidated me the most, which is why I kind of went with the angle I did with her styling. I'm gonna go ahead and do a goth lolly eye patch look for her. As there's no outfit, I want to have as many accessories on the head as possible, so I am gonna be just shading out one eye completely. With face-up designs, it is completely personal preference on what you desire your face-up to look like. I really prefer a smaller eye on my dolls as they look less cartoony, which is just my preference. All dolls are beautiful, all customizing is valid, but I like to make a smaller eye, which is obviously the antithesis of these new molds. These new molds are those really big, childlike, cartoony eyes. So using pastels, I kind of try to shrink down using the shadows of the black pastel to be able to create a smaller eye shape that didn't look so underdrawn. Alongside my regular Mr. Super Clear and Face Up strategy, I needed to paint this doll just to blend in that Millie part when I attach the ears. So I'm going to go for a black cow kind of vibe. Here in New Zealand we have so many kind of cows. We have so many cows in New Zealand, it's unhinged, so there are lots to take reference from. So I've got my phone in the background just looking at some cow pictures and sketching in some little markings. Underdrawing on a mold that has molded in eyelids is a little daunting. It's a lot easier when the design does involve heavier shadows in eyeshadows, such as black eyeshadow for a goth cow, but when working on more of a natural or less of a makeup look like that, it is going to be more of a challenge to override the original mold. With all 3 face-ups complete, it's time to move on to their hair. What I have learned from doing a Generation 3 Clio hair reroute before is there's so much vinyl in these heads, it is a lot harder to do a full reroute. Your needle will snap a bazillion times, at least in my experience, so I've chosen pre-wefted hair today. For my Goth Lolly Lagoona, I really wanted to do a little blonde under dye on the fringe and face framing bits, and it turns out so cute. And to keep things interesting for myself and visually, I really wanted to do a buzz cut on this Draculaura. I think it would just be so fun to mix that trad goth 80s vibe with a buzz cut. So we're going in with the flocking powders and some black paint. And then for my little cow, I'm stealing this Gen 3 Draculaura's little beret, and I am going to be using that along with her little fringe to kind of match that autumn cow that I made last year this time. Now onto accessorizing. Obviously they're just heads and they already have piercings, so I'm gonna go in and give my Goth Lolly a little bonnet and a little eye patch. She is just too cute. I'm actually so obsessed with her. I love her little bonnet. I love her under dye being blonde. I think she is so sweet. And so I'm just going to go ahead and gloss her up so that she has some life brought to her and add a finishing little ruffle collar, and she will be the first of the 3 to be complete. I am just adding some ribbon through her head so that she can be attached to anything you like. I was thinking maybe it would be really cute to hang one off your rearview mirror in your car or off your backpack or something like that. So I went ahead and added some ribbon so that she is a true ornament. I recently bought a bunch of like nail art supplies for doll crafting, and I'm going to be using some tiny little spikes to be adding some further piercings onto this doll. While I was doing this with her bald head and like her spiky piercings, it was giving me huge Hellraiser vibes, and so perhaps that's something I will explore at the Halloween season. But I really enjoy using these tiny little pointy middle things to add some additional piercing textures. Using this stretch faux leather fabric, I'm going to go ahead and create a little choker collar for this doll. And then using further nail art supplies, I'm going to go ahead and add a little O-ring to this collar and add some embellishments with chains and crosses. And last but certainly not least is my little cowgirl. I obviously have her little beret already prepped and painted, so she just needs a little bit of a haircut, and I'm going to be using a faux feather trim to create a kind of fluffy collar for her. And with her ribbon being attached to her little head, she is finished and an ornament in all her glory. And that brings us to the final show off of the 3 little ornaments. This was such a fun way to familiarize myself with the new Generation 3 Monster High sculpts. I think they're so gorgeous, they're so big, and the thickness and quality of the doll head itself is incredible. It's so much fun to do something different and to play around and practice with my skills just for the sake of it, rather than caring about what the end goal is, but just familiarizing yourself with your art or hobby again when you've taken some time off and there are new things in the world to discover. So thank you so much for putting up with my sick voice and how tired I am while recording this voiceover. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video and are having a great day wherever you are. I can't wait to see you guys so soon with more crafts and more curios.